Welcome to the DaChop Team. I'm your host, Seth the Dark Child.
I'm your host, Twins Inc.
Our show is about two guys and any friends that happen to come over with a topic that we want to chop up.
This is our Barbershop style podcast. We discuss it all. If the fellas at the shop will go in on it, we will. Let's chop it up.
Hey. It's Seth the Dark Child with Twins Inc. coming at y'all one more again for the DaChop Team.
What's going on? It's your boy Twins Inc. up in the building as well. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, man. Today, I feel like going down the conspiracy rabbit hole. And let me tell you what hit me.
What hit
So,
you?
as you see the title of the show today, whose DNA is this?
Oh, snap. Whose DNA is this?
Whose DNA is this?
Oh, shucky ducky. Where we going with this, brother?
Well, some of y'all out there listening might think I'm about to start talking about parental fraud and DNA tests for kids.
Nah.
Well, I am a little bit, but
Okay.
not the way you think.
Okay.
Right?
All right, let's talk about it.
So I want to point out something that's plaguing the whole world, right?
What's that?
In France, I'm just starting in France. In France, you know, it's illegal in the country of France for you to request a DNA test. If your girl says she pregnant, you are the daddy, period. It's illegal. If you white and that baby come out mocha, guess what? You are the father. You cannot get a DNA test.
It's the pappy.
You that baby daddy. In America, right? In Tennessee, the law just passed. If a baby is born and you not married, there will be a DNA test. Just passed, right? And I started thinking to myself, I said, why are and this to say I said Tennessee, but you gotta understand Texas and Florida are both looking at very similar legislation, right? And you have to ask yourself, why all of a sudden is DNA testing such a major political item in America? It wasn't 10 years ago. It wasn't 5, 10, 15 years ago. Everybody looked at DNA tests as a dirty little secret. Bear in mind that when a man goes to court and a judge orders a DNA test, 1 out of every 3 DNA tests shows that man is not the father. So
That's tough.
1 in 3, 33%. And those are the men that are tested. Theoretically speaking, I feel comfortable saying that 2 out of every 10 men out there right now today think a child is his that's just not. 2 out of every 10, or 1 in 5. You can argue with me. I don't have the facts to prove it. I do have the facts to prove 1 in 3 court-ordered DNA tests show that he's not.
Okay.
All right?
All right, I'm with you.
So that's scary. And bear in mind, they did the same kind of study in Jamaica, and it was horrible. More than 50 to 60% of the kids that they DNA test were not the father. This is Jamaica. Like, yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, because somebody was shooting up the club.
Clearly. With the numbers being that high.
Bruh, you are not the father. So, but still, I also want to point out the fact that relationships have broken down so far. I've never been to a DNA testing lab or nothing like that.
Me neither.
For myself, no, let me not lie. Because when I got divorced, I did do a DNA test just to be safe, right? But just relationships have fallen apart so far that even if you don't believe in government intrusion into your relationships and stuff like that, you will support DNA testing of every child born in this country. But then, this is the point I'm coming to. Here's the conspiracy part.
Uh-oh. Rabbit hole time.
Anytime something happens in this country,
Yes.
you have to do what Coach Greg Adams tells you to do. Damn everything you're hearing.
Yes.
Follow the money. Who benefits? Who would benefit from every child in America being DNA tested? Who would benefit from that? Now here we are, conspiracy space. A couple months ago, I think it was 2023.
It was this year. Definitely this year.
Okay, a company called BlackRock, which is one of the biggest, largest, most powerful companies on the planet.
Who they call again? What's the name?
BlackRock.
So make sure the people in the back heard that.
Yeah, BlackRock.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
I mean, it's theorized that BlackRock controls over $22 trillion worth of assets around the planet.
How much?
$22 trillion.
Okay, make sure I heard the T instead of the B. But
Yeah, no, $1 trillion in assets.
That's pretty much all the money, but go ahead.
Yeah. Trust me, you own a significant portion of the planet. But if they own $22 trillion of the planet already, why would BlackRock buy Ancestry.com?
Wait a minute. Ancestry.com? Is that the website or company that where you can give your DNA and they can tell you where you came from or how many percentage of your nationality is?
That would be accurate.
And they just bought that company.
And but just buying that company, because if I don't say it, you might not put two and two together.
Okay, go ahead.
They didn't just buy the name Ancestry.com.
Uh-huh.
They bought all of the databases, DNA test results, so everything associated with Ancestry.com. They bought that.
So the DNA that's being taken from these new children that's being born, where does it go after it's tested?
Now, isn't that an interesting
Do they
question?
throw it away, or does it go in some lab somewhere?
Exactly. It's going to be stored in a database. Once again, we just heard about Ancestry.com. That has nothing to do with other things like DNA diagnostics or LabCorp or some stuff like that, whoever does that. But these companies aren't destroying this DNA data. These companies are storing it. One company did a DNA test. I've heard this. I can't confirm it, but I've heard this. I saw the video and listened to it. That the guy and the girl did a DNA test on their kids, right?
Right.
It came back he wasn't the father. But guess what else popped up?
What's that?
Who was the father? And that he had siblings. All their information was in the database already. So you are not the father, but hey, Joe Smith is the father.
Oh, wow.
And Joe Smith has 4 other kids. You know, not that I know Joe Smith. I just made that name up. I'm just telling you. But because I just thought about it. There are probably some Joe Smiths out there, huh?
Yeah, Joe Smith, Josh Smith, Jonathan Smith. Yeah, go ahead.
But the point being is that Joe Smith did the DNA test.
Right.
And he did that for his own reasons, whatsoever. But you as, you know, Alex Smith, who ain't never, ever even met Joe Smith, don't know Joe Smith exists, your child DNA test with you and your baby mama, turns out that Joe Smith's that baby daddy. What if they didn't tell you that? But guess who also knows that the daddy?
BlackRock?
Some major shadow corporation you don't know anything about.
True.
So honestly, I'm gonna say now this is pure 100% speculation, right? Okay. We're gonna talk about the CV-19.
Gotcha.
Okay. The problem, and we're gonna talk about the vaccines that you took for the CV-19, right? So the thing about the CV-19 that obviously, in my opinion, it was formulated in a lab, right?
Yes, it was.
And oddly enough, it targeted certain sections of certain demographics of people more than others.
Yes.
Certain people of my complexion specifically had much worse outcomes than people of a different complexion.
Wonder why?
As if it had been tailored for it. And then you stop to think, what could a company do if they had your specific DNA pattern? would the next iteration of COVID be even more devastating for a certain segment of society?
Yeah.
If they actually had your DNA to work with? Because all you had to do is find a specific marker, aka the one for melanin per se, that would be greater for one group of people than the other. Then you can wipe out. You could do a whole bunch of stuff, right? But I'm just saying. And then we're gonna talk about these vaccines that you guys took. Did any of y'all actually read what the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines did? Do you realize that they didn't actually fight COVID? I think we can say that at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is what it is at this point.
we like 10 minutes into the recording, so we can say it. It didn't actually fight the CV or the beer virus. It changed. They made
Change your DNA.
Yeah, they changed your RNA DNA to try to basically get your own body per se to fight the virus differently. Had to change some of those receptors on your DNA. But guess what? Now that you've been modified by the viruses, because of course they kept track of who took the shots, and we have your specific DNA. I'm just saying, I see a lot of movies. I watch movies a lot.
And most things when it comes to movies, they pissed up in your face.
Yep.
They tell you exactly what's going on, what's going to happen. I mean, Enemy in the State with Will Smith was like the number one movie that they had stuff that we thought was just movie, and now everybody has a cell phone. Mm-hmm. Everyone can be tracked anywhere. Mm-hmm. Cameras are through your phone, your doorbells, everything. So they put it right in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. You think it's entertainment, but they're really telling you what's happening. Go ahead, brother.
No, and that's it. Once again, this is all CON conspiracy stuff, but you got to say that at this point, who do you trust? Right? Every day you go to you use your cell phone. You got records everywhere. Every day you hear more companies are hacked. Their databases are hacked. Yes. Your information is available on the black market.
Yes.
Now there's going to be and this is true for the medical industry and everything. But now you got, once again, a major shadow corporation. And we say shadow because if it wasn't for somebody a couple of years ago putting their name out into the atmosphere, you didn't even know they existed. One of the largest companies in the entire world, and you don't know anything about it. We're not talking Apple. We're not talking Pfizer or Moderna. We're not talking IBM or Microsoft. We're talking about the people who actually own them. Y'all, everyone's up here thinking, oh, like it's like Berkshire Hathaway. You know, that's your what's that old guy's name? Who owns Berkshire Hathaway?
I have no clue.
Warren Buffett. Okay.
Learned something new today.
Well, Berkshire Hathaway don't produce nothing. You've never went to a Berkshire Hathaway store. You've never went to a mall owned by, but you went to a mall owned by companies that are owned by companies that are owned by Berkshire.
Okay.
That's what BlackRock is. You don't know them. You go to companies that are owned by companies that are owned by companies that they own. That, you know, at the end of the day, you're getting down to the bedrock of who actually runs the world. So why would they uncover enough, in my opinion? I'm asking, why would somebody like them, they could have had Google buy Ancestry.com, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't have to put their hand, that was like the hand of God reaching down to pick up a Camry off the street.
I like that comparison. That was a good one. I like that. That was a good one. I like that one. Like, oh, you know what? This Camry right here. This is it right here. Forget the Mercedes, BMW, Jaguars, Range Rovers. This Camry right here. This is it.
And I'm saying, like, the guy, he could have sent an angel. He'd be like, you know what, Michael, go. Why don't you tell another angel, let's say Uriel, to go do that? No. God went down to the ground. That's unusual. And that company once again, that company owns $22 trillion in assets. There's no way. Apple is only worth $2 trillion. Apple as a company is worth $2 trillion. Disney as a company was valued at like $1 trillion. Facebook as a company is like 100 billion. Okay, 22 trillion. It's not. There's no way to quantify that as a thing. Mm-mm. So why would they reach down and grab a company like Ancestry.com?
I mean, you got to think about it. Rabbit hole talk. You think about. I mean, we know it's happening. We know it's illegal, but people, they're into cloning people.
Oh my God! I didn't even bring up that clone Tyrone. Oh my God!
Hey.
So
I mean that there alone. I mean, you think about. Just think about this. You hear about all the people, especially our women and African American people, being kidnapped, never found again, or when they are found, all their internal organs is missing.
Or people that are missing turning up in odd places.
Exactly. And it's just like, you know what? You always hear from the other race that they're the most superior race. You hear that all the time, right? Superior dollar, superior people. I mean, we think about the fight that happened in Alabama. Was that, Montgomery, Alabama?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
The guy, he only one in a restaurant say he don't need our people shop at our store. I refer to my superior people shop at my business only. So when people say racism is dead, it's not. It's still out there. We're not racist, but the people you see on TV and getting fights and stuff, they are. And when they make statements like superior people, the point I'm trying to make is that even though they're saying they're superior people, but we all know who is the superior people across the board. When you look at sports across the board. In most sports, the most dominating people are people who have melanin or, the skin is a little bit darker than the other. It's a fact. Yeah, you can say, well, Tom Brady's great. Yes, but who's blocking for him? Of course, some black dudes too, you know what I'm saying? But when you think about the other players on the team, it's always a star running back, star receiver. It have to be one of our brothers. Go ahead.
I just want to add that the reason y'all, and this is my opinion, the reason y'all think Tom Brady is great because it's almost like a block against black quarterbacks. You got a lot of quarterbacks in colleges that are black that if they make the transition to the NFL, they come into the NFL as wide receivers or some crap like that. There's a line about black quarterbacks, and if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. But you're not letting us compete at our full potential. That's why there are so many white quarterbacks, and yet the rest of the team seems to be black.
Or even if you go into basketball, right? Every year, think about Michael Jordan. Every year there's like a new Michael Jordan that, he's the next one, right? Right? Jordan's great. LeBron, whatever. How many times have you heard there has been that's the next Larry Bird? It's like Larry Bird is a one and only. Like, there's no other Larry Birds out there who can ball. And I get it. You have to be very talented.
Larry Bird was amazing.
He was amazing.
We're not going to knock Larry Bird.
No, not knock him at all. But the point I'm trying to make is that, once again, we talk about the superior race that they say out there. I'm just giving you a prime example, that you're not. Because, once again, Larry Bird was, in the 70s and 80s before he retired as an actual player?
Yep.
So, ever since then, we haven't had no one close enough to a Larry Bird in the NBA since then. No one. But every year we get a new Michael Jordan, new LeBron James, a new Zion, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yes, we got great players, but it's always better. We thought Kareem Abdul was the best, best center ever. And then Shaq came. We thought Jordan was the best. Then we got Kobe. You know what I'm saying? You got Magic Johnson. You got LeBron. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be someone better. Better. But once again, every person I just named have to be African American. The reason I'm saying the African American because, once again, if you get everyone's DNA, right? And now you have access to these things. Now when somebody's born or you want to create a baby, now you can pick certain genetics from certain people to create a super being, you say? Hey, listen, I will not put it past the world that we're somewhere in the Area 51, whatever, they're creating super soldiers. I'm pretty sure there's a real Captain America out there. I guarantee there is.
No, I'm gonna add this once again. We are down the rabbit hole.
Always.
This is Conspiracy Junk 101, whatever. The truth of the matter is, I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. White people have a problem with the planet Earth, right? It's in 600 years. If I saw this, I wish I could find that link again. In 600 years, if nothing changed, if we kept interracial dating and marrying at the rate we're currently doing it, in 600 years there won't be white people on this planet. It is not. That's not an attack or no racist. Once again, two black people make black people. Two white people make white people. But a black person and a white person makes a black person.
Black person with white person, Asian, any race. You mix black with anything, they
become black.
They become black.
If you don't do anything to change it, in 600 years, you're going to be shutting the door on the white race. Okay, when we're going to add that to the point that as the globe gets hotter and hotter, unfortunately, something about the UV radiation is bad for white skin. The sun is bad for white skin. You don't get the same rates of skin cancer and melanomas and all of that black people have. You don't.
We do get them though, but the numbers is way off. Though.
It's not even a contest,
right?
Fertility rates, right? Because let's be honest. No matter how you want to look at it, radiation is bad for fertility rates. All the white countries in the world have low fertility rates. All the black melanated countries have higher fertility rates. Africa is having kids like a dang yeast infection. It's growing. Europe, Asia, and I'm Asia as in Russia. Check the stats. Even Asians, and I'm talking Chinese, Japanese, Thais. Check the birth rates. The darker the complexion, the more likely you are to be fertile. Right? 600 years, they're gone. But what if you didn't want that to happen to your race? What are you going to have to do? You're going to have to start one. It ain't even about super soldiers. I'm not knocking that because it's no. Come on, common sense. If you can imagine it, somebody else can do it too, and somebody else can try to make it work. But if you want your race to be here, you're going to have to figure out how to splice some DNA and fix it so that you can survive on the planet Earth and remain white. And what's the best way to do that? Get a database of 300 million people. That's a good start. That's once again, that's my CON conspiracy. Whose DNA is this? They got y'all distracted with this. They got y'all distracted with feminism, fighting feminism. They got y'all distracted with once again for us, church attendance. They got y'all distracted with moon landings. They got y'all distracted with global warming. And at the same time, most people didn't even realize that one of the largest shadow corporations on the entire planet bought a DNA database with millions of DNA records. And the politicians who these companies own are now pushing mandatory DNA testing of every child that is born. Republicans weren't talking this junk 5 years ago, but Texas, Tennessee, and Florida, they are actively working towards legislation to do this. What if it goes nationwide and now you'll have 300 million potential DNA records owned by shadow corporations?
And when you think about the states that you just named, where are these states all located at in the world? They're located where? What area?
Oh, the South.
Thank you. I want you to say that. I just make sure we're on the same page. The South. And where was slavery mainly at?
The South.
But of course, you went to the North. You'll be what if you made it to the North during that time frame? You'll be free slave.
Ish.
Right. But the point is that it's not funny, but it is funny that the Texas, Florida, the South is where they're looking to approve it or already approve it for the mandatory DNA. Something to think about. Like, where are most black people at? We like being warm, first off.
Well, it ain't just us that is important.
Yeah, but it's all right.
And the point is, we are going to support it. If a politician in Georgia, knowing what I had this whole conversation, if a politician in Georgia said, I am going to demand DNA tests of every child born, I'm going to support that. I'm going to support it. I don't care, Democrat, Republican, Green Party, because ladies, y'all have played into their hands on this particular topic. Y'all have made it so that it's in my best interest, not mine, because I'm out of child support. My kids are over 18, but I want my sons to be safer than I was at the same time. And so it's in my best interest to vote for that politician to protect my child from the actions of a female that could hurt my son. See, but all the while knowing that I'll be giving my grandchild's quote unquote DNA material and my sons, because they got to take the father and the child's DNA material. We'll be giving it to a shadow corporation that could do anything over the course of time. Y'all guys think too small. You guys thinking about today and tomorrow. These guys are planning 50, 60, 100 years into the future.
And also, if you really think about it, they was already doing that for my fellas. If you haven't witnessed your child being born, this won't make sense to you. But all the women know this who had kids, and all the fellas who there will know. When they take the placenta, they take that from the mother. That is a very vital, important piece of, I don't even call it meat or whatever, but it has huge DNA, and that thing is, they take that right away and they store it and they keep it. It's theirs.
Yep.
So this is not nothing new that they're really doing, but mainly those getting just the woman's DNA for sure. But now they're gonna be able to get men and women's DNA. Because if you're a baby, you're born a boy or girl, they got your DNA.
Yep.
Point blank, period. They can't get mine unless I get hurt or something. I mean, they may already have it already. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, once again, you don't know what's going on behind the scene. When you go in, if you ever been in a car accident and hurt yourself and they take blood, whatever, you don't know. Do you really think they just throw it away when they're done with it?
Well, they don't care about your DNA, but you're almost 40, bro. You old. No. And when it really becomes a problem, what do you be, 60, 100? They don't care. You be dead. But once again, these companies aren't thinking 600 years. 600 years. White people will be gone from this planet unless something changes. These people are not looking at, hey, we'll just become, my great-great-grandkids will just be black. That is not how they're thinking. They are not trying to be like, we'll just close the door on the white race in 600 years and we'll call it a day. Nope. They're going to fight with everything at their fingertips to do it. And if it involves a CV-22 that is targeted for people of my complexion specifically, because it could happen. CONspiracy, full disclaimer. All right. I'm just saying that while you're distracted with Donald Trump trying to run for office again and Joe Biden stumbling and Mitch McConnell freezing at the podium, and you all and Elon Musk trying to fight Mark Zuckerberg, while y'all over there distracted with that, these guys are working on what might be a survival tactic.
I'll just say this, ladies and gentlemen. Anytime a new law gets passed, whatever, just pay attention. What's going on in the background? It's always something going on. If it's too good to be true, you gotta raise an eyebrow. Like y'all just said earlier. Like I'm with them. I agree that every child should get their DNA taken. This is something that men was talking about or arguing about way before the government has really made it official. But
this year, it's just becoming a thing.
But now, like they're giving it to us now. But like, yay! But why now? But all of a sudden now you're getting it to us. And then once you said this company, air quote, has bought the DNA, one of the largest DNA that has a lot of people's DNA, Ancestry.com. It's like, okay, so what's really going on? I mean, I still like it, but I don't like it. But at this time, now I have no other choice, and it's a win.
And once again, and honestly, had they had any subsidiary company bought it, you wouldn't even known about it. But when God reached down and set a bush on fire and started speaking from the bush, you'd be like, dude, then you have like dozens of angels you could have used. Why'd you do that? Because God don't move in ways you can see unless you was meant to see it.
Right.
And that actually means, in my opinion, that something else you didn't see happened.
All right, ladies, we're gonna wrap it up here on the Black Hole Talk today. This is one of them days we just rabbit hole talk and
it's just rabbit hole
conspiracy and this one guy's a channel out there. I'm just here to make you think. One thing his name is Daniel Canaway. Salute to that person. His content is phenomenal. But he always say in his videos, I'm just here to make you think. And that's something we doing today in the DaChop Team on this conversation. So anything you want to say before we wrap up, my brother?
Nah, just listen. I don't believe in self-deletion. I don't believe that.
Me too.
I enjoy life.
Yes, I do too.
My life is going in a positive direction.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
relatively healthy.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that if something, not that it could possibly happen, but I don't see why anything would happen that would be, a choice. Just saying that. I wouldn't choose to do nothing like this.
Let that marinate for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning to the DaChop Team. We'll be back next week, 3 p.m. Follow us on social media, the DaChop Team, Instagram, Facebook. We out there. Just go to Google and just type in the DaChop Team podcast. And guess what? We're going to pop up on multiple locations. So we out there. Mm-hmm. If you want to call in, talk to us, let us know. If you want a topic you want us to talk about, the DaChop Team at Gmail. Let us know. We're open for all conversation and any talks.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Enjoy the rest of your day. People be safe. We out.
Peace.
Peace.